What's happening, guys? Today we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein, the list that's supposed to come out to incriminate everyone, but actually ends up being a big nothing burger, which is surprising. A grand total of 0 people out there. We're going to talk about what we know so far, all the questions that we don't know, but really absolutely should, and why you and I, as warrior poets, should lean into this because it's so much more important than I think we even realize. Three different tranches of names of people who have visited Epstein's Island or have been in association with Epstein over the last 15, 18 years or so have been released. Now, we hoped that this list would tell us something. But much to the chagrin of the public, a lot of these names we already knew, of course. But this immediately brings up a bunch of different questions. I'm like, okay, we've sat on this for years. Why has no one been indicted for sex crimes? All these powerful people are just hanging out at this island. And Ghislaine Maxwell has been sentenced to prison for 20 years for aiding and abetting and participating in sex crimes, particularly with minors. If there are no clients and there are no customers that need to go to jail, why in the world is Ghislaine Maxwell in prison? She's in prison because bad activities have happened, yet now all these names are released, and the allegations associated with these names are such weak sauce, it makes you wonder, where is all the copious amounts of audio and video files that we have from Epstein's Island? Epstein's Island was wired for audio and video. So this place is just a haven of evidence against some of the most powerful men and women in the world. Where is all that? Let me guess where all that audio and video footage is. It's with Hunter Biden's laptop. Epstein is alleged to have bribed Bill Gates many, many years ago. Was this just a big blackmailing operation through Jeffrey Epstein, who was a known intelligence agency asset who was used as a big blackmailing operation so that our deep state could control all the world leaders? Yes, that's exactly what's going on. That's exactly what's going on. You know it. I know it. The evidence is everywhere. And yet these investigations are all public theater that are just yielding a big, giant nothing burger.
It's kind of like, you know, if you have one of those red dot laser beams, if you've ever had a pet and you kind of put it on a wall and it just chases after the red dot on the wall.
It's a good metaphor.
That's like exactly what it feels like is going on, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the media will just flip us to something else and we'll forget about this. But now they need to pretend like justice is still going to be done. It's amazing how all this stuff is just buried. I watched on Tucker Carlson, the brother of Jeffrey Epstein, they did an interview. And this brother is trying for years to get just some basic discovery into what happened with his brother's alleged suicide. He doesn't believe for a moment that his brother committed suicide. He did at first. He had no reason to question this, but his evidence was coming out. And furthermore, what he couldn't get access to raised alarm bells. And the more he pushed deeper in, the shadier and shadier it got. And now he's denied basic information that you and I could immediately get. If our brother committed suicide, you would be able to get some basic discovery, but he has denied that. He can't get any of it. Stiff arm cover-up job is what it looks like. And so I did want to briefly go into some of the names that were revealed here. And I think there's a bit of a psyop in how they were released. Why release them in 3 tranches? Why not just, hey, here's the names. We've had them for many years. Why not just drop them? I think the idea is, hey, just drop a list of names. Here's some names, and some of it will be like names you've never heard of. You know, here's a house cleaner, here's a lawyer, here's some folks you already knew about, and so you get used to it. And then the next one comes out, and then the next one comes out, and so it's as if these delayed releases are designed to get you to care less and less and less as stuff is leaked out, and then the big names and the big crimes you never even hear about. Those names are still redacted. And so as you're listing this out, you'll have name, redaction. I'm like, well, what's redacted? Why is it redacted? Now, Matt Walsh pointed out there's some really good reasons why you might redact something. Maybe they're an ongoing intelligence asset, and that's somebody who's supposed to do something, and that could presumably be something for good if you held the assumption that your intelligence agencies are forces for good and not complicit in heinous crimes. So that could be on its face something good, but at this point, I want nothing redacted. Or perhaps they're names of minors who need identity protection. But here, that's not what's in play here. We're looking at a list of predators. Here's some names of folks. Jean-Luc Brunel, he's a French modeling agent who's accused of rape. He was in prison waiting for hearing and suicide. He is no longer around. There was former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson. He's dead now, but his name was on there. Here's something surprising to me. William Burns, he was Deputy Department of State under Obama. His name was on there. And then he's the Biden-appointed CIA director.
Oh, weird.
I'm like, I am very surprised they let that name come out because that right there of already Epstein has immense ties to federal agencies and intelligence organizations. And that's what it looks like to the American public. That's what it looks to me. So
the question that I had for this is, let's say you get invited to hang out on an island with immensely powerful people. It's got to be tough to say no to that.
yeah,
You've heard through the grapevine that there's some shady stuff, but this could be the thing that catapults you to the next stratosphere. Like,
right. But I get that people may visit the island for relatively benign reasons or for social climbing opportunities. But the whole point of the list is you guys have had ample time to conduct a thorough investigation with copious amounts of data. You know what we're after. We're after the leaders, the elitists, the billionaires who have been engaging in pedophilia and sex crimes and dirty money and all kinds of financial crimes. That's what we're after. And so when you release a list with everybody and their brother on it who ever visited, what you're doing is you're taking the real maniacal bad players and you're hiding them amidst of a bunch of folks that aren't doing anything. So of course you put Stephen Hawking on there and nobody's looking at him and being like, well, I don't think Stephen Hawking is capable of raping anyone. Because he's not. And so you put someone like that, or Copperfield, he's just performing magic tricks. You're like, oh, well, you get used to seeing all kinds of different names. And now all of a sudden, whereas before the release, if your name is on a list, you're a bad guy. And now it's like, oh, well, you were there. Maybe you did bad. Maybe you didn't.
Yeah, it's all gray now. It's all gray.
And so now when Bill Gates' name is on there, he's not a black hat and, devil-horned criminal. Now he could have been there in the capacity like Copperfield or anyone else. And so I think the idea of releasing these names in tranches like this and spacing them all out is you hide the bad players with a bunch of folks that may have been there for relatively benign purposes.
Well said. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Now, I will say that there is allegation that Stephen Hawking did participate in underage orgies as well.
Right.
Though you can't rape, you can still receive, so...
but yet again, all the visual proof and audio proof is not existent.
And we're not going to get it. I predict no heads roll over this. You'll have a couple fall people, and then when our intelligence agencies decide to take somebody down, all of a sudden they will discover, couldn't find this before, they'll discover the dirt. And that's what it was always about before. Which leads me to this. We've got to get our republic back. We have to have leaders who will give us the information and actually act on it. No more political platitudes. I don't care what speaking point so-and-so did. I don't care about any of that. I just care about who is courageous and will do what is right. That's all I care about anymore. I want somebody who will release the information and prosecute them no matter who they are, who their daddy is. Everyone who does something terribly wrong has justice applied to them. Just like you and I, if we do something wrong, justice applies to us. But the top elite, absolutely not. They're untouchable. Rape little kids and manipulate people out of millions, billions of dollars. Whatever they want to do, they're above the law. I demand leaders that hold them accountable. And if our leaders aren't cutting the job, get them out of office and get somebody in that will do something. The hour is too late to just play politics. I want heads to roll. I want secure elections, and through those secure elections, I want people that will actually go after those who are guilty. If we don't get that, our country's gone. It's probably already gone. I think it's already gone. I think last election marked the end of America as we know it. That's what I really think. And I think one day historians will prove that what I'm saying is absolutely right. It just may take 20 years to be able to shake out.